Hey guys, Pro1701, and today we are going to talk about it's Armageddon. And since it is Armageddon, it's the end of the world as we know it, and I feel fine. We are going to talk about grabbing the essentials: food, water, family, children, and of course, Daleks. So let's talk Daleks. And today we're going to be talking about the top 5 stories you would save if it was Armageddon, and for some reason, in some weird hypothetical situation, you could only save 5 Dalek stories that would be saved for posterity. Which 5 would you pick and why? Now, one little caveat. While I have seen most of the Dalek stories, I have not seen some of the 60s Dalek stories. I've seen all the others, but from the 60s, I've only seen The Daleks, and I've only seen Power of the Daleks. I haven't seen Invasion of Earth, The Chase, Master Plan, or Evil. A lot of which is due just from being missing in a lot of those cases. And I wouldn't have the Daleks on there. I know for a lot of people they would pick the Daleks. It's almost like a prerequisite since it is the first one and it should be significant because it's the first one. But I'm going to be honest. While I like the Daleks, I don't love the Daleks. I don't give it as much credit as a lot of people do because I don't give something a pass just for being the first one like some people will. I find the story drags on a bit. It's all right, but it wouldn't be in my top 5 for saving. The first one chronologically I would save is Power of the Daleks, even though it's animated. It's such a good story. Of course, I'm talking about the special edition animation. I do prefer that one a little more. I love the story. Troughton is so good in it. The setting is so nice. The Daleks sell it. I love stories that remember that the Daleks are geniuses. They're intelligent, they're manipulative, they're cunning. They will do whatever they need to do to meet their ends, to get their goals achieved. You know, they'll act subservient. They'll pretend to be your friend, and as soon as they don't need you, they destroy you. The scenes when the Daleks all talk in secret are really good. I love that scene about when the Dalek almost talks about how Daleks are better than humans, and he stops. Daleks are different than humans. He's like he catches himself. I love that. But the Daleks are so conniving, manipulative little buggers in this one. I absolutely love Power of the Daleks. Great script writing. Next on the list would be the Day of the Daleks Special Edition. Now, for some reason, I could keep the whole DVD and have the original version and the Special Edition. I would, just to have them both. But if I could only pick one, it's got to be the Special Edition. The Special Edition is what gets it on the list. I've always loved the script for Day of the Daleks. It's my favorite of John's 3 Dalek stories. It's a great script. It was just the execution in the original version was a bit lacking in places, and the Special Edition really fixes that. Of all of the Doctor Who stories that have gotten like CGI upgrades, I really think Day of the Daleks is the one that's benefited from it the most. It's the one where it's taken a story and taken it from here to like here. Because the script was sound, it just needed a better execution. And I love watching the special edition of Day of the Daleks. I watched the original as well, but I love the special edition. It's one of my favorite Dalek stories to go back and watch now. It's so good. Especially that climactic battle at the end when they shot the extra scenes for it on the old cameras. I love that. Next on the list is Genesis of the Daleks. I mean, I shouldn't have to tell anybody why Genesis should be on here, so let's just all know Genesis deserves to be on here. It's absolutely amazing. One of the best Dalek stories ever made. Rightfully so. It deserves all the accolades it gets. So Genesis is definitely on here for that. And in 4th place is Dalek, which is actually my favorite Dalek story from Series 1 of the modern series. Again, I think I don't really have to explain Dalek. Most people know why Dalek is good and why it's held with the reverence that it is. I love it. It's just the personal interaction between the Ninth Doctor and this Dalek. It's very rare you've seen it quite so personal between these two. And just the rage that Eccleston has in him that's bubbling to the surface. The anger, the torment at seeing that there's still one of these things he hates so much left. I love Dalek. It is easily my favorite Dalek story. So it has to be on here. Now the interesting thing is those top 4 were easy to do. I pretty much knew them. As soon as I was conceiving the idea for this list, I knew I wanted to do 5, and I knew immediately those were my 4. Right there, my top 4, no question about it. It was the 5th one I had trouble with. That 5th one was tricky, and I knew I either wanted it to be one of the 80s stories, because all 3 of the 80s Dalek stories are really good, or I wanted it to be the not Parting of the Ways, the Angels of Army of Ghosts Doomsday two-parter, because I actually do like the series finale two-parter when the Daleks show up. I think that's really good. I like a Cyberman story becoming a Dalek story. It's a neat little twist, and getting to see them fight on screen. That one, I'm almost tempted to put it on the list just because I love the SmackDown talk between the Cybermen and the Daleks. I love that scene. You could stop us with 4 Daleks. We could stop you with 1 Dalek. I love that scene. I absolutely love that scene, Daleks talking smack. It almost deserves to be on the list just for that. But I love that story. But the more I thought about it, the more I knew I needed to put one of the 80s ones on there. And I had to stop and think about it. Because again, it's more of a which one is more for posterity. Of these 3, which one needs to survive so other people can watch? And I actually picked my least favorite of the 3. I went with Remembrance, because my favorite of the 380 stories is Resurrection. I love Resurrection. And my second favorite would be Revelations. My third would be Remembrance. But if I had to pick a number 5, I would pick Remembrance of the Daleks. It is an iconic story for a reason. And while I think it's a little overrated, I think it's still a really good story. Really, really good. I just think it's a little overrated. It does a couple things I don't like with the little girl and that piece of children's music that plays every time she's on that just makes me want to throw my remote through the screen. But it is a really good story. Sylvester McCoy is amazing in it. This is really the first story where we start to see the chess master, darker doctor, and which makes it all more shocking in this story when we figure out just how much he's manipulated the situation and how he's tricked Davros. Again, coming from that, when all we were used to was season 24 McCoy, that really is a jaw-dropping moment when him and Davros are talking at the end. That's holy shit. I don't want to mess with this dude. And then Ace has some great scenes. You know, she gets to beat up a Dalek with a baseball bat. So Ace has some good stuff going on in this. I really do like Remembrance. That's also the first story we can see a Dalek float. You know, that he can elevate upstairs. That's pretty cool. So I do think Remembrance would probably be my 5th choice. It is a very solid Dalek story, and while I think it's a little overrated, I do think it deserves most of the attention it gets. So those are my top 5. I would like to know what your top... Well, 1, I'd like to know what you think of my list. And 2, I would like to know what your top 5 Dalek stories you would save if you could only save 5 Dalek stories from Total Annihilation, and why you would pick the ones you pick. So comment down below. I really like the Armageddon videos. It has created some really good discussions down in the comment. And I like them because it really does... I know having to pick only 4 or 5 in this case, it really does kind of make you have to think about it. Especially since it's not a best of or a favorite list. You have to kind of look at it differently. And I like doing videos maybe that people haven't seen before. I love trying to come up with an original idea like that. So let me know what you think down in the comments. I'd love to get your guys' opinions. Always enjoy interacting with you. Other things to do, click the like button, click the subscribe button, click the bell for notifications so you never miss out on a new video. I try to do a new video every day. I've also started a Patreon. If you would like to become one of my patrons, there's a link to that down below. The entry-level tier is only $2 a month if you are interested. There are other tiers as well, ranging from 5, 10, 15, and 20 that gets you access to different things depending on what tier you join at. I actually have a poll going right now, 2 polls going right now, so check that out if it interests you and if you have just a minute to spare. Most importantly, though, stay safe out there, and thank you for watching.